Hi, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Jill. And today we're here to talk to you about our experience on the Norwegian Dawn.
And the Norwegian Dawn is a small ship, don't you agree? I would have said it was a mid-sized ship a couple years ago, but now it's 2,300 passengers. So it's getting on the small side as the big ones are having more than 5,000 people on it. And it was built in 2002, refurbished in 2016. Do you think it's showing its age yet?
Well, we went on it after it was refurbished, so I really felt like it was nice and fresh and new. I loved the color design, the furniture that they had in the lobby areas, the atrium, that sort of thing was all really nice and new and fresh, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't notice it was old at all. So today what we're going to do is we're going to cover all the big parts of the cruise experience, and at the very end we're going to cover what I liked most and least about the cruise, and Jill's going to do the same thing. And the first thing we're going to touch on is, for all of you, the most exciting part of getting on a cruise ship is walking from that gangway and onto the ship. And Jill, what would be the first thing you would tell someone to do that's getting on board the Norwegian Dawn?
Well, I mean, for us, the first thing we did getting on it, we were traveling with friends, and so the priority for me was to make sure that we had our dining reservations all organized and prepared. So I went exactly to that reservation line right away so that we could kick off our vacation and not have to worry about dealing with long lines once the ship got full of more and more people. So the first thing we did was get that straightened away, and because we did it right away, it was a very fast process. And then we were able to go and enjoy the ship, which, we went right out to the Lido deck, went up from there and had our first cocktail all before lunch.
See, I do it in reverse. I would have argued the first thing you do when you get out of the Norwegian Dawn is you go up to the Bimini bar, overlooks the entire pool. You get a nice cold drink. Hopefully you've got the drink package, and you sit there and look over the whole ship before you do anything official like booking meals and all that exciting stuff, all that cruise director stuff that you always do for our groups.
And that's the difference between you and I.
So what's your first impressions of the ship?
I really enjoyed my first impression of the ship was that it was clean, it was up to date, the furnishings were nice, it was what I thought was a nice size ship. It was not small, but not really large to the point that you were going to get lost on it the whole week. I thought it was the perfect size.
Yeah, I'd agree. I say compared to some of the smaller, older ships we've been on. So to frame things, this was our 23rd cruise, I believe, and I believe that this was our second Norwegian cruise.
Yes.
It was our second one, yes. So, and we've been on 5 different cruise lines. So when I compare it to other cruise ships, the decor was likely slightly better than a lot of ships that I've been on in the past. Probably wasn't the best, but I don't know. I don't think there's any bad decor on any cruise ships I've been on. But
I think it was a little more modern, a little more understated. It wasn't as done up as some of the other ships we've been on that have been just a little bit over the top with their decor, in my opinion. But that's because I like a plainer design, I guess.
I wonder who you're talking about. A certain Italian designer comes to mind.
Yeah, there wasn't anything.
No fried eggs on the ceiling of the dining room, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so first impressions out of the side. The next thing usually we try to do is get to the cabin. And what kind of cabin did you have, or did we have, and what did you think of it?
So we had booked an Obstructed Oceanview cabin for this cruise, and the main reason why we did that was the location of it. We liked that it was up on deck 8, which means it was close to Ocean's bar, which we loved because we were able to get up first thing in the morning and just stroll down the hallway and be at a restaurant and get coffee, or grab a cocktail and bring back to our room as we're getting ready for dinner.
That's what I do.
But so we picked that room because of its location, and we picked the Obstructed Oceanview because we find, especially when we're traveling with friends and family, that we're not utilizing our balcony as much as we would if it was just the two of us. So we decided we didn't need a balcony for this voyage.
We didn't have a couch in that one, right? It was just the desk and the bed and.
It is a smaller
Well, yeah.
one. We have been in Obstructed, Oceanviews, and other cruise lines where it still gives you a sofa and a lot more room. This was a small room, so small that Jerry had to lift his foot over the edge of the bed to get down the side of the bed for him to go to bed every night. So definitely the cabin space is small. It's fine for 2 people as long as you don't plan on being in there all day and all night. We, really just used it for sleeping and showering and getting changed for our next adventure. So we didn't spend a whole lot of time in our cabin. We were out amongst the ship and going to different ports. So for us it worked out fine. The bathroom, I'll say, is very generous in size on that style of ship. I liked the design of it. It has shower doors, and it also has doors separating into the toilet area, which gives you extra privacy too. So the bathroom was large and spacious. It was just the actual sleeping quarters itself that were on the small side.
Yeah, I'd agree. Good sized storage facilities, good bathroom. The room itself was pretty small, but when you have a drink package on a Norwegian cruise ship, a lot of your time is spent out in the public areas, grabbing a drink, walking around, sitting by the pool. Whereas if you don't have the drinking experience, then you are, more often be in your cabin, getting ready, taking a break. You're not out enjoying the ship as much. So yeah, the smaller size of the actual bed area in the cabin didn't really bother me at all.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about food next. Big part of the cruise experience is all the dining and the great food that's around the ship. One thing that you should know about us is we probably went on over 20 cruises before we ever ate at a specialty dining restaurant. And that's pretty important when it comes to the Norwegian cruising experience. And so I guess the first question I'd have is, do you think you can go on this cruise and do what we did for 20 years and not do specialty dining and just use the free dining services?
Ooh. So I would say that the main dining in Norwegian is not as strong as the main dining in other cruise lines. So I enjoyed the food on Norwegian. I loved the experience, but what elevated it for me was that we did have the specialty dining restaurants, and that made the experience just that much better. The nights that we didn't have a specialty dining restaurant and we just went to the main dining room, the food was okay. There just wasn't as much of selection on the menu as what I'm used to on other cruise lines.
Yeah.
And first of all, I'm a bit of a picky eater, so for me it's always harder than it is for most people to find something that they want to eat. So I think that for me personally, I don't want to do a Norwegian without having the specialty restaurants, and the specialty restaurants are truly phenomenal.
Yeah, I would have to agree on most of that, except I think I'm more a picky eater than you. I don't eat red meat. I don't eat seafood. I don't eat a lot of pork. So for me, it was even tougher in the main dining room to find a lot of options. I eat a lot of vegetarian. Love hamburger, but don't get us wrong. All food on every cruise ship I've been on is better than what you probably cook in your kitchen every night, and better than even a lot of restaurants that you have. So it's not that the food's bad. Just comparing ship by ship.
Well, that's saying a lot because you're a really good cook.
Yeah, well, I know it's not as good as fried potatoes and bologna, but it's it's still pretty good. But yeah, cruise ship food across the board is fantastic. It's just the dining room options weren't where I would.
In the main dining room.
In the main dining room. So I guess that brings up the specialty dining. So let's talk about the specialty dining that we did do, and so which ones did we do on this cruise?
So on this cruise we did the steakhouse. Yeah. Which was phenomenal. The steak.
Cagney's is what it's called.
It was a wonderful experience, not just the steak, but the whole from the appetizers through to the wine selections. We just had the waiter choose what wine he thought I should have with my steak. He did a wonderful choice with that. The service was impeccable. The dessert was phenomenal. So everything from the sides to the whole thing at the steakhouse was phenomenal for me, but I love steak. Jerry does not. Not
good for me, and so I had a different experience there, and a little bit of a frustrating experience is I don't eat red meat, don't eat seafood. There wasn't hardly anything. There wasn't even a chicken option at the time on that menu. There might be now, but
yeah.
But so I ordered, I think it was fish, and I'm not even a big fish person, obviously, but there was chicken going by our table nonstop because the kitchen for Cagney's is connected to Monderno, which is a meat
the
Brazilian restaurant next door, and so I try to get the waiter to say, can you just give me a piece of that chicken that's going by? I would prefer that over any steak or anything else that I'm getting, and they either didn't think I was serious or they didn't want to accommodate me. So a little bit disappointing, because usually on a cruise ship you get whatever you ask for, but that really wasn't my experience at Cagney's. But everybody I've ever been around says it's fantastic steak, and it is an excellent atmosphere. So it's just me being picky, of course. So we also went to Moderno, the place that's next door.
Yes.
And it's Brazilian, and they bring the meat out to you and all the sides out to you, and it's a different type of experience.
Well, and they also start with, they have an all-you-can-eat salad bar that has more than just salad on it. It had smoked salmon, it had shrimp, it had salads, of course, but it had cured meats and cheese, a variety of food that was a higher end food, not something that you would find at the buffet per se in the restaurant. So we started with that, and then you order your sides, and then they come around with the meat. You're given a card with a green side or a red side, and you flip it. And if you want meat brought to your table with you have the green side showing, and they're constantly bringing out things. Even grilled pineapple is one of the choices that they bring out, which was delicious. Yeah.
So the other specialty we did was we had the 3 specialty dinings. We did teppanyaki was our last one.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
The food at teppanyaki is wonderful. For us, it's a small room with a lot of grills and a lot of people crammed in there, so it was a little bit loud for a dining experience. To sort of have a nice experience, we couldn't speak and have a conversation with our friends. They couldn't hear us over the noise in there. So it was that, but I mean, it is an entertainment of a show that you see when you do that, so it's nice, but it's not something that you're going to want to do if you're looking for a quiet sit-down dinner. It's more of a show than it is a nice relaxing dinner. The food was phenomenal, though. I love it every time I eat there. Yeah,
there is a veggie option, so it worked really well. I think I had chicken, in fact. Yeah, but there is also a vegetarian option. So yeah, no, it's always an entertaining experience. If you've never done it, you definitely should do it.
Yes.
But I find when you've done one restaurant like that, they're all kind of very similar as far as, the singing and the way they put on a performance as they make the meal. So it's definitely entertainment. It'd be, I think, great for children, would enjoy it, and first timers. But after you've been there enough times, it's pretty well the same menu over and over in all the different ships. Yeah. So other specialty dining that we didn't go to, so we didn't go to Los Lobos, which is a Mexican a la carte restaurant.
We went there and had a drink.
Yeah, we did do that.
At the bar.
We'll discuss bars probably later.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Actually, I don't have it down as a bar, so but it does have a good bar.
It does have a bar.
Good margaritas, right?
Yes.
We didn't go to the sushi. We're not big fans of sushi, so we didn't go to the sushi.
Right.
We didn't go to La Cucina, which is the Italian specialty restaurant.
Now, we did do that on a previous cruise with Norwegian, and it was delicious too.
Yeah.
But we just didn't do it on this one.
And we didn't go to Le Bistro, which is a French restaurant, which we've heard good things about. We just haven't got there yet.
Right.
Yeah. So, and remember, we come from always wanting to use the free dining, so this specialty dining was kind of odd for us. But I think in the future we probably do more of the Norwegian specialty dining, because it is really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and free dining. So, Oceans is, you'll talk to a lot of people that like Norwegian Cruise Lines, and they love it because of Oceans. It is an amazing experience. It's kind of an Irish pub. Mm-hmm. It overlooks the whole main atrium, and there is excellent dining offers. There's I would say kind of pub type of food. There's burgers, there's wings, there's nachos,
fish and chips.
Yeah, and they do all 3 meals. Some people don't know this, but you can go there and breakfast, and they have a great breakfast, kind of a country type of breakfast. And then they also have lunch, which is their standard fare, and then they also have usually specialty dinner options available too.
They usually have one themed dinner, like they will have a prime rib night for dinner one night, that sort of thing. They have one main thing above and beyond what is on their regular menu.
Yeah, and a big fan of Oceans. I always found it wasn't ever too crazy busy, especially during breakfast.
Breakfast, it was usually empty, and it was a great way to go in and have a breakfast quick, especially if you're trying to get off the ship on a port day and you want to have a nice sit-down breakfast. It's quick.
Yeah, and we talked briefly about the free main dining room, which is the Venetian, is the big one at the back of the show, after the boat, and there's the Aqua. Right?
Yes.
That's in the middle of the ship, and it's a little bit smaller, lower ceiling. We didn't dine in there. Oh, not on this one. We did it on the previous one.
We did on the previous time we were
So that's your main dining room food. which we kind of touched on already. There's a bamboo restaurant, which is connected to where the sushi is, and one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely our favorite, one of our free dining favorites.
It's like having the quality of a specialty restaurant, but it's free.
It's included, yeah.
We did it once on the first time we were on a Norwegian ship, and we did it late in the cruise. We thought, why didn't we come here more often? We did it twice this time around.
Yeah, and so that was one of the things that I booked as soon as we got on the ship on embarkation day. Was I went and booked those nights right away in there, because we couldn't do that online. We could book our specialty dining online, but I couldn't book for the bamboo online. So I went and was able to book reservations for our group within seconds.
Yeah, and the other options are kind of your standard your Bimini Grill, which is a poolside grill up at the Bimini Bar, overlooking the pool, and then of course the Garden Cafe is the buffet. There's one main buffet on this cruise ship, and it's a little bit different than other buffets we've been on. A friend of ours coined the phrase cafeteria, which I thought was really odd, because I thought there's nothing on a cruise ship like a cafeteria, but this one is probably the most like a cafeteria of any cruise ship I've been on.
Just the way it was laid out.
It's not warm and comforting. It's kind of wide open and.
But the quality of food was there.
Yeah.
I the few times we did eat there, I was surprised that the food was as good as it was. So, the layout, it was a little bit different than some of the other ships we've been on, and it was more like lining up in a straight line and following it all the way through, instead of having stations like a lot of cruise ships have gone through. But the food was good.
Yeah, choice of food.
And there was a decent
I wouldn't write
selection.
home about stuff like burgers and dogs. It was kind of cafeteria-like with that type of food.
Yeah.
But, it had a choice of some Indian food. It had some Italian. It had some, that's where you'd find the pizza would be at the buffet. And all kind of your salads and sandwiches. There's all kinds of different options, and there's lots of food there. It's just, and as far as it being open all the time, did we ever have an issue finding food with the buffet? Was the hours okay?
Yeah, well, there were, a few times maybe when we came back from a port of call that it had already been closed, but that's the great thing with Oceans. It's open 24 hours a day, so we were able to use that whenever we wanted to.
Okay, so let's talk about entertainment next. So once you get past the food, the big experience on a cruise ship is the entertainment, the theater, the music around the boat, all those different things that make up the whole experience. So first off, theater shows, the main theater, how was that experience?
The theater shows was a mixture. They had their performers performed, I believe, 3 nights out of the 7-day cruise that we were on, and then in between that they had a comedian one night. They had an illusionist
Yep.
one night, that sort of thing. They mix it up a little bit. So the main theater, I enjoyed the entertainment there. We tend to go to the shows every night. On almost every cruise we go to the shows, unless we've already seen it because we've been on the same ship.
Yeah, I think that the main theater design leaves a little bit. It's kind of like theater seating, like a movie theater where you have all these bucket seats. There is some seating up at the second floor.
Yes.
Yes, and we went up there, and there's bench seating up there, different angle of the show, but and there's also good bar service up there, so it's also a nice spot to sit.
Yeah, we found a bartender up there the first night that got our drink orders down, and every time he saw us after that, when we would go into the theater, he would sort of know what we were going to order, so that made the experience a little bit nice. We'd go and get our seats, and as the show's about to start, all of a sudden we'd have drinks appear to us because a bartender had memorized what we were drinking.
Yeah, we're a big fan of the big shows, the Vegas type shows. I'm not big on magicians and that type of stuff. I like a lot of big shows. There wasn't a lot of those. There was a few, but not. I don't know. It didn't feel like as many as I wanted to see. But that's us. Other people don't go to the main theater at all, so it depends on how you cruise.
Right.
Music around the ship. How'd you find that?
There was generally always music in the main atrium on the ship, and so that was the spot to go to. Not a whole lot of seating there, so if it was well underway when we came out from dining, sometimes it would be hard to have a spot to be able to sit down and partake there. And then a few nights there was something going on in the back lounge. I'm trying to think of the name of that
Bliss.
one. The Bliss.
Yeah.
There would be some live music there. They did a lot of smaller shows back there too, like their version of the Love and Marriage game show and a few adult activities in the evening. So that was a secondary place for entertainment. And generally we were back there at least once in the evening doing some sort of thing, whether that was listening to music or watching a game show, or they would have themed dancing activities.
Yeah, I found that there wasn't a ton of music around the boat, the main atrium and that back lounge sometimes. And we like to dance a lot. So finding a place where there's a band playing that we can get up and dance and enjoy the vibe on the ship, I found at times that was missing because there's no place to really dance in the main atrium. We kind of made our own spot back by where the guest services was, and a bunch of pictures were being taken. We just started dancing, and other people got up and joined us, and that's kind of what it's like on a cruise ship a lot of times. And then in the Bliss Lounge, there was a dance floor. So when there was a band there, you could get up and dance there. But yeah, not a lot. A lot of cruise ships, you go from spot to spot, and there's people dancing, and there's a party happening all over different parts of the ship. This wasn't like that. It was mainly atrium was the party, the Bliss the odd time, and that was about the end of the nightlife.
Well, and I think maybe part of that is it's on some of the smaller sides of their ships now, and I've heard from our family and friends that have been on their bigger Norwegian ones that it's, you know, a lot busier and a lot more entertainment spots going to compared to this one where it was a bit of a smaller ship, so there might have been a little bit less of a nightlife than on their newer ships.
Yeah, and how about the evening vibe, that, you know, that buzz around the ship, the people, the crowd? How did it feel? Was it a subdued crowd, or was it nuts?
It was more subdued than, say, the fun ship.
Yeah.
So it, you know, it depends on what you're going for. I loved it myself particularly because there was stuff for us to do, but it wasn't loud, it wasn't in your face. It was take part in what you want to. You're not being coerced and having to do or feeling obligated to do things that you just want to relax. So when it comes to entertainment, you know, you can do as much or as little as you want is how I felt about it. And I think, you know, talking about entertainment, I think you forgot about down at the Champagne Bar and that area.
That's true,
there was always music there.
Piano player down there. Yeah.
And we enjoyed it. The musicians that were down there were phenomenal. The only thing that kept us away from it a little bit was that there was quite a bit of smoke coming from both the casino and their smoking cigar room.
Yeah.
So there were certain nights where we were down there and we had to leave because my eyes were watering and red and irritated and that sort of thing. I couldn't take it anymore. So we left early, way before the music was done and way before we probably would have had there not been a smoking area. So that was a bit of an issue for me personally, and some people it doesn't bother, but I'm pretty sensitive to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I forgot all about that area, because if we could have used it more, it would have been another place for a party happening on the ship to enjoy every night. We went there when we could, and then we kind of cleared out if it got crazy smoky and found something else. And the casino was smoking every single night.
Yes.
There was no off nights for smoking, so that kind of wafted in that part of the ship towards kind of the forward part of the ship.
Yeah.
And I guess the other part of entertainment is sea days. So as far as things to do on sea days, how were the crowds around the pools? How did you find those?
Yeah, I found that the size of the ship and the amount of deck space they had was very good. You know, we've been on some where you're having to make sure that by 7 or 8 in the morning you're reserving a chair and you're out there reading a book and he'll go get me breakfast so that I can stay on our chair. We didn't have that issue at all on this ship. We were able to go and have a nice sit-down restaurant breakfast time and then go and pick our chair. And the atmosphere around the pool was really good. It wasn't loud, over the top. There were often different areas that you could go to. So I really enjoyed the Lido pool life on this cruise ship.
Yeah, I would say that the sea days didn't seem overly busy, and I guess again that's because it's a smaller ship, I think. And it was a nice large pool. There was loungers that were in shallow parts of the water. There was a pool that you could go in and you could stand up. People would be standing in there having a drink in the pool. Some ships don't, you know, the frown on the idea of drinking while you're in the water. Not a problem here with the drink package. Everybody was having a good time standing around the pool talking and enjoying the sea day. So yeah. I didn't think it was too crowded, and we had no problem finding a chair and chilling out and relaxing and ordering a drink.
What I found was that there was also a nice mixture of places where you can be in the sun or the shade. So, you know, Jerry often tries to be in the shade the whole time. The older I get, need more shade than what I ever did before, but I want a little bit of sun while I'm away on a vacation. So I'll start off with sun and being able to move into a shaded spot later on. And this ship offered a lot of places where you could do that.
Yeah, and the last piece of entertainment, at least on this boat specifically with the drink package, was all the bars.
Yeah.
It was
14, I believe. I counted.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think we got to all of them. But you could truly do a pub crawl on this ship and maybe not be able to get to all of them by the time you've had a drink at each one.
Well, we found that we were on night 7 of our cruise and there were still 2 or 3 bars that we hadn't come across. So that's when we sort of made a point to try and find them all and get to them all. And it wasn't so much because, you know, it was such a large ship. It was just that all of them had such good quality. And so, you know, we found ourselves personally, after a day or two, you find your favorite waiters and bartenders and you stick with them for the most part. We really enjoyed the main atrium bar area, but I also really enjoyed the wine bar that we would often meet there with our friends for a pre-dinner cocktail, and they had like a nice Prosecco that you could get every day and take that and go to our dining room.
And the sugarcane bar,
my favorite,
which was connected to, we just finished saying the favorite was the wine bar.
I have a lot of favorites, I guess.
But the sugarcane mojito bar is connected to the Moderno Brazilian restaurant up near the top of the ship, and it is fantastic atmosphere. You can sit up there at sunset and have a drink, wait for your table at the restaurant, or you can just go there like we did before dinner somewhere else and order a drink and take it with you. And you know, great bartenders there, excellent atmosphere. Everybody seemed to be up in that bar. It was a small crowd, but they were all there for the same reason, because it was a good atmosphere and really good drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the big question is, would you sail on the Norwegian Dawn again when you compare it to other ships of, you know, similar size and experience?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely would. Well, we have been on it twice, so that tells you we liked it so much that we did it a second time. So yes, I definitely would do it again. I loved the size of the ship. I loved the specialty restaurants. So yeah, for sure I would.
I think I would for sure, although I'd probably go on any cruise ship. At any time, I'm not one to turn a cruise down, but I enjoy a smaller size ship as opposed to large ships, so this one has that for me. And I found the specialty dining different from my previous cruising experiences, but I enjoyed it a lot. And the overall vibe of the ship, it was kind of, I really enjoyed it. The drink package was fantastic. They do the drink package right. There's no signing of a chit. There's nothing. They just, you order a drink, they go get it, and they'll take one card. They don't need everybody's card. There's no drink limit, and I think they do the drink package better than any other cruise line. Okay, so lastly, we're both going to try to come out with one thing that you liked the most about the Norwegian Dawn, and one thing that you didn't like.
Okay. Oh.
So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Oh, pressure's on. Okay. I would say what I like the most about the Norwegian Dawn is the entire Oceans atrium setup and feeling there. That you go there, the Oceans, it's a nice casual place to have a drink, have something to eat. There's music often playing in the atrium in the same space. There's also a bar downstairs. There's a wine cellar bar right below it as well. You're kind of in the hub for everything. And I find that whole atrium area was, you know, for me, that was the ship. That was where everything was happening. Everybody seemed to be there, and I liked that part of the ship. You know, if I had a second place thing, I would say that type of cabin. You don't find those on all the ships. That you've got a obstructed ocean view, middle of the ship, that close to a lot of amenities, at a great price point. So I think that it was a good choice of cabin for us as well. What's your favorite?
My favorite. Well, I guess I will go to food. For sure, the specialty dining was gave it a higher level of a cruise experience than what we've had previously. So that would be it. And I agree with you about the drink package. Also, that was really enjoyable, not having to worry about it, or you being able to go to the bar and get me a drink if, say, I was in the cabin with my card and it didn't matter. It was just a stress-free, easygoing.
We did count how many drinks we had.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them?
No.
What do you mean? I can't remember the number now. I think I was around 54 drinks in 7 days.
In the whole week?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I know.
I think you were just a little bit behind me. Not much,
I was
though.
around 10 or 12 below your number. There was no way that we could get to any daily limit like some of the other cruise lines have a 15 drink limit. And we were like, yeah, there's no way. Even though there is no limit on Norwegian, you could have 15 or you could have 20 if you wanted to. But I never hit double digits on any day.
I might have one day, but yeah, it's not easy to do, especially on days where you have port stops. It's it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and we're
and like he said, we were drinking relatively early because if I was suntanning in the morning, it was okay to have the drink of the day at 10:30 in the morning. No, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Right.
Yep. So, what did you like least about the Norwegian Dawn?
So it's going to go back to food again. My most favorite and probably my least part too. So I don't think I would have been impressed with the food had I only had the main dining room as my dining experience. Whereas we've been on other cruise ships where we've eaten in the main dining room every single night and it's been wonderful. The 2 or 3 nights that we ate in the main dining room were disappointing for me. They were a letdown for sure.
I would say my least favorite part of the Dawn is the theater. The theater experience and seating. That I'm not a big fan of the kind of individual bucket seats. I like some bench seats. I like to have a table in front of me to put the drink down when I'm watching the show.
No, you're saying bucket seats, but they were actually like theater seats, like you would get in a movie theater, where you push the seat down. And some of them had a little spot where you could pull out to put your drink in. Often the drink cups didn't fit the right size of the little holder. And the other part was there was no place for the waiter to get by to serve people.
Yeah, people were handing drinks to each other down the row like you'd have at a baseball game passing hot dogs. It was the same type of idea with drinks. And so that's, So, and also not only the seating, but the shows themselves. Like I said, I like big Vegas shows over the top, but I didn't get that full experience. So that is our review of Norwegian Dawn. Anything else you wanted to reminisce about?
No, I don't think so. Overall, I think we just had a fabulous time, so much so that we did it the first time by ourselves, and we roped friends to go in with us the next time we went on it because we really were impressed with the ship, and the staff was phenomenal. We had great waiters, great bartenders, and room steward. So just the overall feeling was you knew you were on vacation. You felt like you could do whatever you wanted, whether that was to be extremely involved or whether that was just to sit poolside and read a book. There was areas everywhere on the ship that I think accommodated for how busy or how quiet you want it to be. So I appreciated that.
Yep, no, cruise your way. Most cruise ships have that option to find your own spots on the boat that you like, but this one definitely that wasn't hard for us. It really fit into our style of cruising. So, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely subscribe. There'll be more videos on other ships we've taken since and before, and definitely hit the like button and let us know if you have any comments below, and we'll definitely help answer any questions you have about the Norwegian Dawn.
Right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.